Ah!
Hey everyone, this is Dave here at bluebearsgames, and welcome back to another episode of Blues Budget Battle Brews. This week's episode is Gingerbrute Man, or short, that's actually the shorthand for Can't Catch Me, I'm the Gingerbrute Man. And it is a white and artifact deck, which is kind of highly unusual for Magic since it doesn't really go well together with white artifacts, but I figured out a way to make it work. Alright, so before we get started on the deck, if you want to know what Blues Budget Battle Brews is, please go to the explanation video that I will have linked in the card on the upper right hand side so you can take a look at and see what it's all about. It'll also be in each video that is a Blues Budget Battle Brews video so that you can go ahead and take a look and see what this whole thing is all about. Please remember that on the explanation video, if you like the video and then you comment that I won a deck, you will then be entered into a giveaway for a deck that's in the series, any one you want. Just got to tell me which one you want. That'll happen at 500 subscribers. As of this video, we're at 290, so we're almost there. We're almost at 300, and we just got to go to the 500 mark. So that's the first thing I'm going to talk about. Now we're going to go into the deck, and I'm going to go into the Gingerbrute Man deck that I have created. This is one of my more original decks that I've made in a while. When I first started doing my deck building for other people, one of the first 60 card decks I put together was a mono blue artifact deck, and it had a nice little rotation where it could keep going around and around, where you could get things back into your deck and then recast all your artifacts and create lots of stopper tokens. This one's a little different. This one's going to revolve around almost entirely one converted mana cost stuff, or as the new way of saying, mana value stuff. So, Gingerbrute, 1 to cast for a 1/1. It has haste for 1. You can pay and it can't be blocked this turn except for by creatures with haste. And you can sacrifice it to gain 3 life because it's a food. And it's 1 to cast, and that's what the theme is going to be here. So I got a play set of those in there. I got a Thraben Gargoyle. It's also 1 to cast for a 2/2. It has Defender, but it also has Transform for 6. And with the very low converted mana cost or mana value of everything in this deck, getting to 6 shouldn't be that big of an issue or that big of a hit. When you transform it, it turns into a 4/2 flyer. So it has some evasion. So I've got a play set of those in there. Ardent Recruit. Now, the reason why everything, this is one of the very few. There are a couple non-artifact cards in the deck because it has Metalcraft itself, and there are a couple other cards that have Metalcraft in Magic. I wanted to kind of keep with the theme of 1 converted mana cost. So it's a 1/1 with Metalcraft, and what that means is if you have 3 or more artifacts in play, it gets +2/+2. That's what his ability for Metalcraft is. So he'd be a 3/3. Play set of those. Court Homunculus. It is also a 1 to cast. It's a 1/1. It is an artifact creature, even though it has white mana in its casting cost. So just keep that in mind. And it gets +1/+1 as long as you control another artifact. And the good thing about this is if you were to play a Court Homunculus and then Gingerbrute on the second turn, you actually attack for 3. So it's actually part of the synergy. Play set of those. Mearsmith, one of the non-artifacts in here. It's 2 to cast for a 2/1. Don't care about any of that. It's whenever you cast an artifact spell, you may pay 1. If you do, you put a 1/1 colorless mirror artifact creature token onto the battlefield. So it's in here to help you gain board state, more tokens. I want to point out, and I didn't think of it this way, but a friend of mine who was looking at this card, I really don't want to say this, but he said if you really look at it, it looks like an old woman looking at one of those suction cup dildos on the wall, if you take a look at the picture. I don't know why he thought that, but he had to make it a point to point it out to me. Now that I've seen it, I can't unsee it. Play set of those. The fuel for the deck is this one right here. Now, to upgrade this deck, you're going to want 4 of these if you want to really get this deck going. I only had 2. It's Aureox Salvagers. It's 4 to cast for a 2/4. Its ability is, and it's a colon, so you can do this as often as you have the ability to with mana, is pay 1 white and 1 of any, and return target artifact card with a converted mana cost, or mana value now, of 1 or less from your graveyard to your hand. That means that you can do anything that's 0 or 1. So keep that in mind. And it's only values on the upper right-hand corner. So if you had things in play that reduce the cost of artifacts, it does not count for your graveyard. So just keep that in mind as well. 2 of them. And again, if you have the means to get 2 more, I would do so. And this is where it gets a little weird. Implements of Power. 1 to cast artifact. You pay 1 and you can sacrifice it to gain 2 life. Not very exciting. These are in here for a couple reasons. So it gains you life so you can live longer to go ahead and do the things you're trying to do. But with Aureox Salvagers out, you can get it back to your hand, because whenever it is put into your graveyard, doesn't matter how, you draw a card. It gives us access to something that white normally does not have a strong access to. Card draw. These are literally to help you stay alive and to draw a card. So these are really good for that in this deck. A play set of those because you want to keep them going. So you want to put them in play, sacrifice them, draw a card, and gain 2 life. Get them back, put them back out in play. Universal Solvent, another 1 to cast artifact. For 7, you can tap it and you can sacrifice it to destroy a permanent. This is for the long game. So if you guys, if you and your opponent are stuck in like a stalemate, this is to help clear the board for you. Because it says you can destroy a permanent, you can destroy anything. That includes land. It just says target permanent. So you can actually, if you're in a stalemate, you can actually do land destruction on your opponent. You can destroy anything, either creatures, just about anything in play, you can go ahead and do. So that's why that's in there. Plus, it's 1 to cast, so you can get them back. Explosive Apparatus. It is 1 to cast, just like everything else for the most part. Pay 3, tap and sacrifice it, and it deals 2 damage to anything. This has been changed to anything for the most part. So you can do it to a creature, to a player, to a planeswalker, whatever you need to do. And because it's 1 to cast, you can get it back. So keep that in mind. This is basically white's access. So I actually turned this white deck into basically a red, white, and blue deck. So it has access to direct damage and card draw. So it's kind of weird. It's not normally a white thing, but in this deck, it is. Got 4 of those because you want to keep them going round and round as well, just like with the card draw stuff. And then Origin Spellbomb. It's 1 to cast, just like everything else. 1, tap it and sacrifice it, and you can put a 1/1 colorless mirror artifact creature token onto the battlefield. Basically, create a 1/1. And again, when this goes to the graveyard, you can pay 1, and if you do, draw a card. So again, another access to card draw for white, which normally it does not have. The bonus to this one, the other one lets you gain life. This one lets you put creatures in play that can help you pretty much seal the deal on winning the game. And I got a play set of those in there. As for the rares, we're going to go with Tempered Steel because just about everything in here is an artifact. It's 3 to cast for an enchantment, and it says all artifact creatures you control get +2/+2 to make those little 1/1s a little beefier, especially like a Gingerbrute or even the Thraben Gargoyle. It turns it into a 6/4 flying creature. And that's the foil rare for this, as if you haven't taken a look at the explanation video as to why there's 1 foil in here that's rare, it's explained in that video. Angelic Voices. It's an enchantment that says, as long as the only creatures you control are white or artifact, so it can be all artifact, all white, or a mix between white and artifact, then creatures you control get +1/+1. So it's an anthem, just like Tempered Steel, only there's a condition. This deck meets that condition every time. Force of Virtue, it's for a little bit of trickery. It's another anthem, and that's the only reason why this deck will work is because all the anthems that are in here. And there are better ones, and there are more. So if you wanted to add more or take away 1 or 2, you can, but make sure Tempered Steel stays in. So it can be played as an instant if it's not your turn, and you exile a white card from your hand rather than pay its mana cost. And it's got flash, so you can flash it in any time as trickery for your opponent. And creatures you control get +1/+1. And the last non-land card is Planar Outburst. It's 5 to cast, destroy all non-land creatures, but it has Awaken. So if you are in that stalemate and it's a locked board state with nothing but creatures, and you just want to clear that board, you have an advantage. So you planar outburst to destroy all non-land creatures, and then you can awaken it if you want, if it's late enough in the game and you have the mana to do so, and make one of your lands a 4/4 creature where your opponent will have none. So it's a nice little surprise thing to add into there. So for the lands, normally what I would do is, for beginner decks, I always like to put like Evolving Wild or Terramorphic Expanse to explain and show people what the importance is to land fetching and mana fixing and thinning out your deck. However, for this deck, it didn't matter. It's all one to cast stuff, so that lesson can be learned in a different deck. This is all about tempo. So I went with a Sandstone Bridge instead. It enters tapped, and then when it does enter the battlefield, a creature you control gets +1/+1 in vigilance until end of turn, and it also taps for a white. It's to help beef your creatures even if it's for a turn. And I got 2 of them in there. And the rest is just all plains, so no big deal after that. We're going to go over that in a second. So that's the Can't Catch Me on the Gingerbrute Man deck. It's a cheeky little one. I kind of like this one. This is actually near and dear to my heart because I'm an artifact player. I'm a huge artificer when it comes to Magic, and usually I play blue, so they go hand in hand. This is a different take on how to do artifacts with a different color, especially one of the weaker colors when it comes to certain things. For regular play, white's usually pretty strong. Commander, it's pretty weak, but this one kind of shows you that it can be pretty strong in 60 card deck as well. So that's my deck. That's the Gingerbrute Man deck. Next, I'm going to go over my tip of the week, and it's really not a tip so much as it is an explanation of something that people keep talking about. So I'm not going to go over the card itself. So this is a Dark Depths. I want to go over what's called the list. A lot of people don't know what that is. The list is a subset of cards that Wizards has created. It's a list of cards, generally speaking, of good reprintable cards that are only available in a set booster box from a set. So Zendikar Rising was the first set of Magic to have what's called set boosters. There are 30 packs in a box, and each one of them has a chance to have a card from the list, and it rotates. Now we know now that since we're on what are we on? We're past Kaldheim. Kaldheim had it, and then we have what is this called? Strixhaven. So we're on Strixhaven, and we've had 3 sets that have the list in set booster boxes. So it started off with a specific list, and then it rotated out. I believe it was 30 cards out and 30 cards in, or something close to that, in Kaldheim, and then again it happened in Strixhaven. So the original list is altered, but you can go to the Wizards website or Google it, what is the list, and it'll take you over there, and I'll probably put a link in the description below to the changes that they've done. But Dark Depths is one of the changes that they made. It's in the list, and how you can recognize a list card is this little symbol on the bottom left is a Planeswalker symbol. What that means is it is a reprinted card, and there is another way that you can acquire a card with that symbol. It's mystery boosters. Mystery boosters have this symbol too. So every card has this symbol, and so does the list. So that's how you can recognize if a card is an original print or if it's a reprint from a specific thing. So either mystery booster or the list. So that's just a little helpful tip and hint about how that works and what these are. Again, if you have any questions or comments about that, I mean, I'm going to go over in a minute how you can contact me if you want more of an explanation. But that's just a simple, here's what they are, this is what they look like. Make sure that you can recognize that as you go, that this is a mystery booster or a list, or quote-unquote the list card. All right, so just keep that in mind. All right, so, and I got my cat in the background scratching at the door. So, please remember to like this video, share it out to anyone who may be interested in watching this build or even possibly purchasing this build or any of my Blues Budget Battle Brews builds. Alright? Subscribe to this channel. Once we hit 500 subscriptions, I will be giving away one of the decks in the 4B, is what I'm shorthanding it to, is Quad B or 4B decks, Blues Budget Battle Brews. Okay? Like the original video of the explained and comment that you want a deck if you'd like to enter into this to the giveaway. Okay. And if you do know somebody who's interested, or you yourself are interested in this deck, or possibly any of the other 4B decks, they are $20 a piece, or I do a discount for multiple purchases. So if you buy 2 or more, they are $15 a piece. Plus shipping for everything, obviously, because, I can't afford on my own to not have the shipping paid for. Okay? I will, if you want to contact me about any of that, I will go ahead and put a link to my Facebook page where this advertisement that I have on my business page is at. I will go ahead and give you my email so you can email me direct if you'd like, or you can comment on this video, on any of the videos that you want, and then we'll figure out a way to get in contact. All right? So, email me. It's bluebearsgames@gmail.com. You can comment in the section below, or you can directly comment or go to the Facebook page and take a look at that and see if you want to see any other decks. All right? That's how you go ahead and get a hold of me. All right, so if you have any comments, questions, concerns, or even possibly requests for a deck, please, all those things I just told you, email, comments, all that stuff, I'll have it up here in the video where you can contact me. All right? So, that's it for this week. Stay safe, enjoy your week, and I will see you next Friday.